reason that we're making this video is for you. We've lost so much sleep, we've lost thousands of dollars, we've stressed out more than we even want to admit, and we're gonna share all of our experiences with you so you don't have to go through all that.
We made some mistakes. We bought this truck camper for $3,800 and the price tag was just way too tempting to turn it down. We did kind of overlook a few things about this truck camper that did end up costing us more money in the long run. And we want to share our mistakes with you so you don't have to make them when you buy an old used truck camper. The first thing that we're going to talk about is delamination. So this is an obvious sign of previous water damage to the truck camper. There can be wood rot under there, there can be mildew under there, and our old truck camper definitely has it. Do we live with it? Sure. Is it the best? No. As you can see from this side right here, the top panel is actually bowing out a little bit. So that means that there definitely was water damage in the past. We did tape up a lot of the areas and it's not the best looking, but again, we got this camper for super cheap. And if we knew what we knew now, would we have avoided this camper? Possibly, but we would have also avoided all of the fun and adventure and the learning experiences that we had. Hi. The second and probably the most important is check the roof. So our roof is an aluminum roof, but it has seen some damage, I gotta say. There's obviously hail marks all over it. There's some bowing in some areas. We've had to take the AC off and repair some of the rips in the aluminum because we were having a major leak. And even though we did some repairs on the roof, there's definitely some more maintenance that we can do for the roof, but we really just wanted to get it waterproof. So we did a lot of caulking, we did a lot of waterproofing. We put a lot of that Flex Seal up here and Eternabond tape. And as of today, this thing is watertight. To be honest with you all, I think we avoided doing this kind of video because it's slightly embarrassing. Like, these are things that we missed whenever we were buying this truck camper, and we had to fix it. We had to figure out how to fix it. But I have to say, I think having a little bit of naivety when you're going into a big project like this makes it a little bit more fun, challenging, and it's a huge learning experience. So we know this truck camper in and out. Are all old campers like this? No, of course not. Some owners of truck campers keep their camper covered. They use it maybe once a year, so it doesn't have as much damage. Ours was basically left out in the middle of Texas heat, hail. It got a little bit of abuse, but we did our very best to fix everything up, and it was quite a journey along the way. We did actually write down notes on this because I don't want to forget anything. If you're a truck camper owner and there's anything that you want to add to this video, please drop it down in the comments below. We really wanted to put out this helpful video for people to avoid some of the mistakes that we made. Another huge part about owning a truck camper, yeah, there's quite a few, is the jack legs. We bought this camper with manual jack legs. Now, if you talk to any truck camper owner, you know electric jack legs are where it's at. Those new are like $3,000. We're not buying that. That's like as much as the camper costs for us. So we did actually have to buy like this pulley system that lifts up the camper on both sides. We use it in conjunction with the legs whenever we have to take it on and off. But since it's so difficult, we really don't take the camper on and off a lot. We've only had to do it twice, and that was when we took it off to do our whole renovation. We put it back on whenever we were finished up with the project. Since the manual jack legs have been exposed to the elements, we really didn't trust them. As you can see, there's some rust in there and things like that, so we really didn't want to have these jack legs bear the entire weight of the truck camper, because when you're taking this camper on and off, even with electrical jacks, it's a little bit sketchy. So with manual jacks, it's even more so because you have to manually lower or raise the jack legs. So sometimes they're kind of off kilter. They don't seem equal and level whenever you're putting it up or down. And it's just, all in all, a very scary experience. The best advice that I can give you is whoever you're gonna be purchasing this from, have them test out the jacks. Obviously, you're gonna have to put it onto your truck, so make sure everything seems solid. Each of the jack legs raise and lower if you have to do it manually or electrically, and just make sure these things are solid because they are pretty pricey to replace. All right, so we talked about delamination, the roof. Next up, and something that you should definitely check on an old camper, is the water connections. So like most campers, you can connect this directly to a hose bib, or you can fill up the fresh tank and go off of the 12-volt pump system that's there to have water pressure. Our fresh water connection, even though it's okay, it still definitely leaks water, so we really don't use that as much. Instead, what we do is we just fill up our freshwater tank and we go by the 12-volt pump system. Even whenever we're staying somewhere long term, it's not ideal. So just check out those water connections. I do want to mention something about the water system. So when you're off grid, you rely on a pump to provide pressure to the faucets so you have water running out of the faucets. Those pumps are luckily not that expensive. We actually keep a spare one with us while we're on the road just in case we have to replace it and the old one goes out. That basically covers the exterior. Now you have a good idea of what to look out for as soon as you approach the truck camper that you might purchase. How much work is in store for you? Are you willing to deal with it and fix things like us? Next, we're gonna talk about the interior things to look out for inside of the camper, and Amber's gonna go over that. But first, we're actually at Fort Ross State Park, and we're gonna check out some really cool historical stuff. I really wanna have a coffee drink, a little afternoon pick-me-up for our walk into Fort Ross State Park. And we teamed up with La Colombe. This is the oat milk pumpkin spice latte. Y'all know it's pumpkin spice latte season. I love having these like canned ready to go coffees when we're on the road because I'm not gonna whip together a whole pumpkin spice latte and they just feel so nice for this season. Gotta have your whipped cream. Look at that foam on the top. Adding a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. It's so creamy. The pumpkin isn't too overpowering, so it just is like this subtle, pumpkin-y, fall-like, Halloween witchy vibes.
And you know who's most excited is in the back here is Winston.
It's good.
You want to try some? Oh, too much.
He loves whipped cream.
Is Winston not the same color as a pumpkin spice latte?
And Amber's outfit, look at that.
Look at that! And our comforter, we were waiting for this season.
If you had a glimpse inside my head, you'd know I'm different than you.
Ross was actually a Russian settlement in the 1800s and hundreds of people lived right here.
When we first bought the truck camper, we were a little bit out of our comfort zone, so sharing all of this with you, like all of the embarrassing parts about our truck camper, was something that we never wanted to highlight because, yeah, it's embarrassing.
We felt very vulnerable, and since we didn't know everything and things weren't perfect, we're like, wait, what are we doing? Are we even doing the right thing?
And we were receiving a lot of criticism too, like people were saying, oh, you can shine up a turd, but it's still a turd. Which is funny. We are doing this for a good time, not for a long time. We don't know what the future holds, and so that just worked for us. But for all of you out there who want to learn more, we just want to share this information with you because, yeah, it definitely was a learning experience.
One thing that we knew, and we swore to ourselves, is that we refused to go in debt for this lifestyle. We were not gonna buy a $40,000 rig and have it perfect and be in debt. It's just not what this is about to us.
Also have to keep in mind that we lived in a tiny camper before, no bathroom, no running water. It was literally a box with a bed and an AC in it. So this was really an upgrade for us. If anything broke, we were just gonna fix it.
Can't even tell that there's an ocean. All of this is completely oceanfront right here, but it is so foggy that you can't see any of it today.
What works for you might not work for me.
You say you're gonna go in this old building?
This was a hotel in the 1800s, so it's set up with little beds in every room. The standards of comfort have definitely evolved. I hear people saying, oh, I need memory foam, I need a Tempur-Pedic. Look at these people, they got through. This is an original Honey I Roam kitchen.
Look
right
at all
here.
those Dutch ovens.
Whoa.
So many Dutch ovens.
What an original way to cook. And here we're like, ooh, look at our Dutch oven. They're like, girl, we've been doing this hundreds of years. Get over yourself. This is our soup pot for our soup.
Build a life that helps me thrive.
So apparently it was very fashionable to wear seal pelt, seal fur, whatever, seal skin. Yeah, so that was actually a big reason why they came down here from Russia for the skins, because they were worth a lot of money.
Come on, look at them go!
That's our pumpkin spice boy.
You know, you're really not here for a history lesson, okay? That's just not our thing. We don't really know the history stuff very well. We appreciate it, but to memorize it and to tell you all, don't rely on us. But there are little tidbits we can share with you.
If you're a real history buff, read about it.
Want to take a bite out of this?
So cool, I kind of do. Whew, it's sour. Sourer than a Granny Smith.
If you like sour candy, that's for you. Oh, pucker.
Search for the truck camper was extensive. I mean, we were looking on Facebook Marketplace all over the country.
Luckily, the truck camper that we found was only 4 hours away, and it was the one that we wanted. It is a hard-sided Lance Light 815. It's actually the lightest hard side that Lance truck camper makes.
When we were deciding on what type of rig that we were gonna get, luckily, Giulietta had a vision. She wanted a truck camper, and I could think of a million reasons why we should get a pull behind or why it's fine living in what we had in that little tiny camper. But luckily, Giulietta was so driven and passionate about this truck camper endeavor that it's what we ended up going with. And she was right. It was the perfect move for us. Giulietta usually is right.
So sweet. You think so?
Yeah, sometimes I pretend I am.
You're right a lot. Come
I've
on.
been right before.
He's a pumpkin spice boy. Look at him. Come on, let's go. Come on, pumpkin spice.
We've never been to a state park that Winston was allowed in, and when we asked them here, they said, oh, he can go everywhere that you go. Don't step on that poop. Fox poop. These are the things that you're gonna look for on the inside of your truck camper before you buy one. We ended up finding this truck camper on Facebook Marketplace, and we went to go look at it and purchase it the same day. It was such a gamble. It feels so nerve-wracking. We were just hoping that everything worked. We don't have a ton of appliances in here, just the basics. The first thing that we actually did was take out the microwave. There was this big clunky huge microwave that took up all of this, what we have now as storage space, and we don't want to use a microwave, so we got rid of it. We don't even know if it worked. So when you're cooling down the refrigerator for the first time, it can take hours. So when you're buying it on the spot from someone, be sure you ask them beforehand to chill it so that you can feel it when you get there. And if it's a three-way fridge, be sure that they have the propane hooked up so you can test it and make sure it works. Another very important thing is to make sure that there's not a leak in the propane line. So you're gonna wanna hook it up, try it out, and see if you can smell that propane-y smell. A lot of the truck campers that we were looking at do not have an air conditioner, and that was a deal breaker for us. We love to be in warm places. We love swimming in warm water. We're not always in cool places. We don't do snow, so basically we absolutely needed an air conditioner that worked really well. This one is the original, so it's 24 years old, super old, and it works so darn good. Knock on wood, knock on wood. It keeps this thing ice cold.
Another important thing to consider is the 12 volt in the electrical system. So the 12 volt's gonna run on whatever deep cycle battery that's connected to the camper. We decided to upgrade ours to a lithium ion, so it didn't really matter about that deep cycle battery, but just check the terminals on there, make sure everything looks good, not rusty, and ask them if you could just test it out, not plugged into AC and just powered by the 12 volt, so you can make sure all the lights will work, the water pump will work, just on the 12 volt system.
It's just super important to check all of these big things before you make the purchase, because if you have to replace it, it is gonna cost 2 arms, 2 legs, maybe a whole body. And the point of living this way is not to go broke. The actual most important thing is to be sure that your dog is gonna be happy in here. So Winston actually made the official decision on whether or not we were gonna get this camper.
Thank you so much for watching this video. We're Honey I Roam. If you have any questions about any of this, please drop it down in the comments. Send us a message on Instagram. We love to hear from our honeys. We love you guys.